to give for all this power?
Everything.
Not the best salesman.
I know, like, what the fuck, cool man? You just said nothing. Just drink it.
Yeah. No, just drink it. It just tastes good. Here, just taste
That is,
Mountain
would you
Dew
not
for
do
ya.
that? I mean, he is like a manipulative bastard. You wouldn't say what happens.
I mean, he's very honest, I guess. But look
Yeah,
what
he's
happened.
right up front. He's like, you're gonna lose everything, dude. You're gonna just give it all up. Give it all up.
Well, going from Gul'dan, welcome to episode 4 of Aspects of Lore, the podcast where we give you aspects of the lore behind a certain topic. I'm your host, Rich, and with me today we have Rubber Rory,
Heyo.
Scrappy Coco,
Hello.
and Uthos. Today we're going to continue looking at allied races. As before, how they fit into the existing lore, what they could potentially contribute to future lore. We're not going to take a big deep dive into the backstories, but if there is something specific you want to hear, drop a line to aspectsoflore@gmail.com. You can also check out our website, aspectsoflore.com. Click the contact button, and you can send us an email straight from there. 1 second, my bird is screaming, so I'm going to wrap him up. Sorry. Can you hear him? Can you hear him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard him go, hair.
Just wrap him up. Does he mean
We should keep our little
foil
Gul'dan
and
chit
bacon?
chat.
What? Oh,
We
wrap
should-
him up. No,
Yeah.
so like
he
my
means in
bearded
aluminum
dragon.
Foil and put him right in the oven.
Oh yeah, definitely. So like my bearded dragon, last night I got him out after stream. I got him out and he
Is that an
goes-
actual pet or is that a euphemism for something else?
a bearded dragon?
Yeah.
Oh, here, do you want to see him? Here, I'll show y'all real quick. He's cute. His name is Mr. Bubs. One
It's
second.
even funnier that it could be a euphemism.
Yeah, I was like, wait, he took out his bearded dragon. And, whoa, like, wait, what?
You guys want to see him?
You guys want to see him?
The stream want to see him? No, it is pretty much like being in an oven at the minute here, but we wrap him up in like a blanket, so it's like dark, or he will just continuously
Oh,
stream.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I can't close this door, but I can close the door to the bedroom.
This is Mr. Bubs.
Oh, he is.
What's up, Mr. Bubs? You're
Hey,
getting the
Mr.
headphones
Bubs.
so we can say hi to him.
He's not fully grown yet, is he?
Nope. He is he's actually a rescue.
Aw.
I got him from Petco. They were about to throw him in a bag and throw him outside in the dumpster.
What?
Wow.
That's
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
dark.
Petco and PetSmart, they do that. Major corporations, they do that.
That, no.
After
Not
about 4 months, they throw them away.
Don't
Hey, Rich.
approve. Yeah.
Hey, that little Gul'dan talk we just had, we should throw that in at the beginning.
Oh,
because
I'm
you
going
did
to.
on top of Gul'dan.
I'm absolutely going to.
But
Bad
he's
salesman.
He's called a bearded dragon because his beard, which he won't do your beard. Well, he like flares up his chin and he makes a beard. So that's why he's called a bearded dragon. He's got a really long tail.
And when they get really pissed.
So, are you like one of those people that want to play like a lizard race? Because there's like a whole movement about
No.
like people who want
No.
like a
Pathetic.
Sethrak or
Yeah, no thanks.
No. I
Mind the
don't. I
lizard
do
race.
not agree with Sethrak. I would much rather have an Arakoa.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Erico
we'll
would
get
probably
into that
join the
when we
Alliance
talk
though.
about Mechagnomes.
Why do you say that
Definitely
though?
would join the Alliance.
Well,
No,
the
they
Alliance.
definitely would join the
Yeah, Erico helped the
Yeah.
Alliance and Beyond the Dark Portal. The Erico
Because-
themselves had to deal with the orcs.
We're gonna
a bunch
cover
of them.
that in Rise of the Horde.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the Horde
So yeah,
like,
that's
destroys
that's
the
something to cover.
Arakoa.
Mm-hmm.
what up, Bubs?
It's one of the
I
things
know.
they do when they come together. They like
Well,
just
let's-
completely decimate.
Yeah, they've got
Let me
fucked.
put him up real quick.
They had a
Let-
mighty fucking empire. All right, sorry. Anyways.
No, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Because Scrappy
Cut out
just
all
left
the
us.
F words for the podcast.
F-bomb. F-bomb.
Okay.
Fuck buckety pop. I can cut that out.
Thought
Um,
we were cutting out this whole thing.
I quite
Well, for
enjoy
the
it.
podcast, yeah. This is just for the YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
So let's have a look first at the Dark Iron Dwarves. So Wikipedia notes that they are notorious for their gifts of magic and history of treachery. The Dark Irons had long battled the Alliance and the Horde under the command of evil forces. Now under the united rule of their regent queen, Moira Tharazin, I say that wrong, don't I?
Thorician?
Thorician, thank you.
Or Thorisan, sorry.
Thorisan. I thought it was Thorisan. Moira Thorisan.
Thorisan.
Thorazan.
Thorazan.
Thorazan. We got there
Yeah.
eventually.
We did it.
Pros. I'm going to start that sentence again. Now, under the united rule of their Queen Regent Moira Thorisan, the clan is at last a member of the Alliance. Dark Iron Dwarves at first emerge in the bowels of Shadowforge City. And then you get a race preview from Blizzard as well. And they say, known for their fiery tempers and fierce determination, Dark Iron Dwarves have a turbulent history with the other clans. A failed coup in Ironforge ignited the War of the Three Hammers, and many of the Dark Iron once fought in the service of Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. Though one faction of the Dwarves is pledged to Queen Regent Moira, others refuse to stand alongside their kin. The Alliance seeks a united Dark Iron clan to harness their power of Azerite and aid their struggle against the Horde. And that's how it begins. So
There's a lot to say about these guys.
hell
Yeah.
yes.
All right, so we know about the backstory here.
Yep.
The
Earthen.
Earthen were created by the Titans and present in Uldaman, migrated to different parts of the planet where they were afflicted by the curse of flesh. The Ironforge dwarves hold the majority of the mountainous Khazmodan region in the Eastern Kingdoms. The Wildhammer dwarves making their homes in Ari Peak in the hinterlands and around the former home of Grimbatol in the Twilight Highlands. The Dark Iron Dwarves hold parts of the Black Rock Mountain from within their subterranean city of Shadowforge and are spread throughout the surrounding regions of the Burning Steppes and the Searing Gorge, including areas of the Badlands and other parts of Khazmodan. The Frost Dwarves make their home in the Storm Peaks in the mountain hold of Frosthold.
Hey, Mike, real quick.
Yeah.
Your microphone's a little off.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you get me? You got me?
Yeah,
There
way
you go.
better. Yeah,
Much
yeah.
better.
Okay, sorry. I just don't want like the wind to like. All
What
right, when
you can do, I was going to mention this to you. You can get like just a piece of cloth over it, like just
Ooh.
anything.
Just a baby sock. Do you
Yeah.
have a baby sock? Just, phew, that's what I do. Baby sock.
I do, I don't have it here. I gotta.
It'll completely stop it.
Oh, yeah.
Because your voice sounds really good, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I use a pop filter. There you go. Perfect.
This must sound muffled though.
It just looks funny.
It looks freaking ridiculous.
I
That's
mean,
good.
it's not.
That's fine.
Let me
You
try
can
to
turn
get
it
a
as well.
baby
If you
sock
turn
for
it a certain way, like you can
Yeah.
have it like
this.
yeah, like make
Does
some
this work?
Oh, yeah.
puh
No, it's
noises.
perfect. That's the way it was last time.
Is this
It sounds
good?
like.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, it's really
Yeah.
good.
Right. Let's go. Where am I?
Can we just all be
All right.
silent for like 5 seconds so I know where to cut?
Cut here.
Okay.
When the High King of all the dwarves, Modimus Anvilmar, died, violence broke out into a civil war, which resulted with the victorious Bronzebeard clan keeping Dun Moreau and the Wild Hammers settling in Grimbatol in the wetlands, the Dark Iron settling in the Redridge Mountains, and founding the kingdom of Thorison, named after their leader. Now King Moradin also granted the Anvilmar family a permanent seat in the Senate of Ironforge, so to avoid making enemies of the family he deposed.
Smart
The Dark
guy.
Irons, yeah. The Dark Irons remained bitter about this loss for years and eventually attacked both kingdoms all at once to prevent one from coming to the aid of the other. Alongside the seven, the sorcerer Thane allowed his hatred to overwhelm himself, accidentally summoning the elemental lord of fire Ragnaros. The summoning destroyed Therazane, both the city and the man, washed over the northern regions of Redridge, and transforming them into the burning steppes and the searing gorge. That's why there's a huge crater there with only that mountain in the middle.
It's just so
Yeah.
gross. It's one of my least
Magistrate
favorite
Solomon.
areas.
Yeah, it's so gray. Magistrate Solomon of Lakeshire later sent envoys to Ironforge to ask for aid against incursions from the Blackrock Orcs. Moira volunteered to help out and set out for Lakeshire with 21 guardsmen, but the group was ambushed and she was kidnapped. The reason she was kidnapped was because Emperor Dargran Tharisian.
It's hard,
In
right?
Shadowforge. Yeah, it is. Yeah. In Shadowforge City was intending to use her as a hostage to prevent Ironforge and the Wildhammers from attacking them. But that didn't really stop her father, who eventually sent a group of people to go in and rescue her. But what was happening was in the middle of this, the emperor fell in love with her because she was finally being paid attention to, because she was a female. Her father kind of cast her aside and didn't take her seriously,
Magne, you chauvinist.
and he also didn't like. He trained her to be a warrior, and she wasn't really interested in being a warrior. So like she really felt like she wasn't being listened to, and the Blackrock, the Dark Iron Dwarves rather, they put more of an emphasis in sorcery than they do in battle. I mean, they're still warriors, but they really like get into their sorcery more so. So when she
They love
said that
summoning
she was
elemental fire lords.
right, and when she decided to become a priest, like they were all for it, and eventually the alliance came in. The two dwarves began to speak about the hopes for their future, and unfortunately the alliance came in and killed them. When that happened, she said that she was in love with him and she was pregnant with his baby. So she refused to return home to Ironforge. But they were still enslaved by Ragnaros. So there was still a lot of problems going on.
Do we know how old she was at this point?
Good
Actually,
question.
I mean, I
would have
don't.
to look that up. I don't know.
Well,
I
I mean,
remember reading that.
But there's
She
a good
was young.
question. Yeah, she was young. I mean,
She was young when she fell in love with him,
around-
but then keep in mind that between Classic took place for like 5-6 years.
Yeah. So I mean,
So
even if she was, I mean, either way, she's probably age of consent.
yeah, and dwarves also live to be 200. So
Yeah.
I mean, she could have been, relatively speaking, young for a bunch of years.
Mm.
So what she did, she was very smart and very witty, and she still is to this day.
I like her.
So what she did was she wanted to make sure that the Dark Irons were free from Ragnar's tyranny. So she spread news that the Fire Lord was amassing an army, and that Dagran Tharazane's death only delayed its formation. She also told of the riches and the artifacts hidden in his stronghold, the Molten Core. So she hoped this would attract adventurers or greedy heroes that would strike at the Fire Lord and banish him. Her plan succeeded, with her finding an unsuspecting ally in the Hydraxian Waterlords, whose rep was like atrocious to grind.
So glad I never had to do that.
who had their own rivalry when the denizens of the Firelands and offered their own rewards for striking at Ragnaros. Soon, powerful champions broke into the Molten Core, destroyed Ragnaros, his protective ruins, and with the aids of the Water Lords, banished him back to the Firelands. The Dark Iron Dwarves celebrated, and many pledged themselves to Moira for orchestrating their liberation. Then
Makes sense.
Moira turned her attention to the Dark Iron that occupied the upper Blackrock Spire,
Dark Horde.
and knew that the Dark Horde, right, because that was the
Blackrock Orcs?
Blackrock Orcs that made a deal with Neltharion.
Yep.
Yes.
To grab, I remember that storyline, to grab hold of the
Was
upper
okay.
Blackrock Spire.
It was Neltharion. It wasn't. Okay. Yeah.
His son?
Okay.
No, it was Neltharion, and then because he gave his son that area because he's the final boss.
Right.
The son is. Yeah. So then to make sure that she could free the upper Blackrock Spire, she knew that the Black Dragonflight had entered an alliance with the orcs and conducted experiments to create draconic monstrosities. Her spies made sure that the word of that reached Durotar, where the Horde was infuriated. So champions traveled to Blackrock to defeat both War Chief Dalrend, Blackhand, and his master Neltharion, taking the head of the dragon with them back to Orgrimmar. The Dark Irons had lost another enemy thanks to Moira's shrewdness.
She is good.
Yeah.
She
Okay,
knows what
yeah,
she's doing.
Very good.
Yeah, I remember that now because I remember explaining to one of my friends why the head on the dragon, like the pipe
Right.
and the dragon on it.
Orgrimmar.
Right, because
in
they said
Orgrimmar.
that they were gonna take over the Horde, which she told what she made sure that Thrall knew was that they wanted to take over the Horde. And that's why he was like, no, absolutely not. This can't go on. And he sent out people to just decimate them. In the wake of Magni's petrification spell, Moira returned to Ironforge with her infant son to claim the throne. Backed by the Dark Iron clan, Moira ruled Ironforge arrogantly and with an iron fist. She had griffins moved out of the city, had the Deep Run tram closed, holding all of the people in Ironforge hostage, including Prince Anduin Wrynn,
Yep.
who was there as a Stormwind diplomat that would aid the dwarves in such troubling times because Magni was gone, and so the king sent his son to help them.
I mean,
we got pissed.
But at the same time, why would you send a 13-year-old?
Well, but
it's also
he
the
had a
prince.
really good relationship because he was also going through his training. So his father wanted him trained as a warrior. So he was going to be trained by the same guy that trained Arthas. What's his name?
Its
Pop
name
quiz.
is Muradan. No, not Muradan.
Muradan.
Muradan. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Muradan.
Muradan.
Yeah. So he wanted Muradan to train his son, and so Anduin went there to start his training, and in that process, Moira came in and took them all hostage. So enraged.
So, real quick question: what's up with kings and wanting Muradan to train their children? I mean, I know he's a great warrior and
he's a great warrior.
everything.
Yeah.
He's traveled to
But
many different places. He's got a lot
you
of
had,
good knowledge and advice.
He just
I mean,
knows
I
the
think
score.
he was an advisor to one prince before. I mean,
And you always want to keep in good standing with the dwarves. And what better way is to honor the dwarves by saying, "Oh, you're so
battle.
great. You know, why don't you train my son?" You know, and we saw that Arthas was trained by him, and then Anduin. So I could understand
how many
why
parallels
they did
are we gonna see here?
Yeah, see, I brought that up last time with the parallel between Shadows Rising and Anduin and Arthas.
Yep.
Like, there's some parallels there, and the doubt. There's a lot.
Anduin is missing right now in the Shadowlands, isn't he? I'm sure.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's a spoiler.
Now,
Sorry, spoiler.
as far as we know, as far as spoiler wise, Arthas
Sorry.
is we don't know. Like we have nothing. All we know is he's probably in the mall, most likely.
Well, when he gets kidnapped, he hasn't. The helm isn't shattered yet. The helm is still intact in the
Oh, yeah.
timeline, and Zoth is beaten, and then we immediately go into the pre-patch. So we're still in the
Yeah.
nebulous timeline. So in Rage, Varian and 18 SI-7 operatives embark on a mission to liberate Ironforge and assassinate Moira. And Anduin intervenes and explains that despite Moira being a tyrant who held the city hostage, she was still the legitimate heir to the throne, and killing her would only put the succession of Ironforge into question, thus leading to more chaos and more conflict, and could lead to another bloody civil war that would suck the rest of the alliance into it. So he made a lot of sense, telling his father, listen, the worst thing you could do is kill her, because if you kill her, her son is the legitimate heir to the throne.
Mhm.
So if you kill her, everything is going to be chaotic, and that's not a good look.
So he begs
for-
Jaina,
for
doesn't
the
he,
king.
to teleport him from Stormwind back to Ironforge?
No, he had the Hearthstone.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Jaina gave him a heart.
no.
I
That was the
thought-
other
I
way
thought he
around.
did.
No,
He
that's
used a
the other
Hearthstone.
book.
He used a
Sorry.
Hearthstone. No, he did have a Hearthstone. He had a Hearthstone in Ironforge, but when he was there, but he pretended he didn't. So then he used
Right.
a Hearthstone, went back to Stormwind, told his dad what was going on, and then he had to beg Jaina to teleport him back there so that he could stop it, basically.
Yeah.
Stop them from actually murdering, assassinating. I got there.
Assassinating. Yeah. No, it's this is one of the most interesting races that the Alliance could have had.
Oh yeah.
And I honestly think that this is 100% a great allied race, because they actually bring so the whole race is based on they value power, and they don't have a problem with using warlocks as a main part and a main pillar of their society, mages, and anything that has to do with like sorcery, they're right there, and they don't have any problems using any sort of power to do that. In fact, when we get into the unique race class combinations, which I think we're going to do in a future episode, I think the next one, we're going to talk about how their particular brand of shamanism is completely different than everybody else's brand of shamanism, because they are about dominating the elements, not worshiping
Dark
the elements.
shaman.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, they're pretty much dark shaman. They just haven't really said it so much in the lore.
So I do have a question. Now this came up towards the beginning. It says the Alliance seeks a united Dark Iron clan to harness the power of Azerite and aid the struggle against the Horde, and aid their struggle against the Horde. So, do they know something about Azerite that we don't know? Like, was it Azerite purely?
No, well, obviously that's going to change after BFA, but the thing is, they don't have a problem getting power and
So
using
they're
it
like Azerite
for their
okay.
own means. So they saw that Azerite is something to be used. Keep in mind, the first one to really use it effectively was Sylvanas when she put the Azerite on the catapults. And because those catapults, they could have kept throwing catapults with burning things. It would have done nothing to the tree if it wasn't for the Azerite that they put in the catapult.
Yeah. See, I was gonna say the Gallywix, because Gallywix used Azerite to be like, hey, Sylvanas, here you go. Here's some Azerite.
What a douche.
Well, that's a little
Exactly.
bit different, but
they now with the Azurite being available to them, they can find new ways of using it that will enhance the power of the Alliance. And so this is going to bring interesting spiciness to the Alliance that I think has been bland up until now, in my opinion. And I'm very pro Alliance. I know Rich, you are too. So it's not like,
For the Alliance.
you know, but they're kind of bland. Now with
They're
the addition of
so
the
bland.
Dark Irons, with the addition of the Dark Irons and this whole thing that Tyrande,
Yeah, I was just gonna say Tyrande. The Night Warrior shit.
that is going to actually make it more interesting in the lore. But
Not just
yeah.
paladin
Anybody have
priest.
any thoughts on the Dark Irons?
I mean, coming from such a aggressive history, I was, as far as Alliance races go, I really think the Dark Iron fit up on the coolness meter. Because Alliance is pretty lame in general, so Dark Irons are definitely good for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Alliance are so focused on being like the race of like honor and justice that they lose sight of like other things that would give them more of an edge, and the Dark Irons have no problem like
Also,
going for that.
Keep in mind, it wasn't just Battle for Azeroth that we started to notice a big incline in Dark Irons helping us. Warlords of Draenor, we had the two that went into the Vanguard with us. Legion, there are a few that helped us out. So I think Siege. Did they help us?
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
They helped us get not Black Fuse. What was his name? You know that stupid goblin that was like, "Here's an Iron Star."
Yeah. I remember that.
What's his name?
They're really good with mole machines too, which is
the Siegecrafter.
That's their racial.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
him. Yes. If you play Alliance, I don't know if it's the same for Horde, but she comes out with a mole machine with 3, I think, Dark Iron, Dark Iron Dwarves, and they try to help you in the raid.
That's right. They die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and their mole machines are just something else because they have no limit to where they can go. They seem to be able to cross space and time to like Warlords of Draenor to Outland. They
Moira
really don't have any
and
limitations.
Dagran's Excellent Adventure.
I think
Nope,
the Dark Irons, they're pretty solid, especially for an Alliance race. They're pretty solid, really solid. They should be in there, no question asked.
Yeah, it was a long time coming. It's such a rich Civil War history, and we're at a point now where not only are the Alliance and Horde coming together, but many various factions amongst races are coming together.
Once when you bring up dwarves, you should just look at Red Shirt Guy. I mean, simple as that. Just look at Red Shirt Guy.
And also the other thing that I wanted to point out, which I found interesting, is that the four different tribes, 4 different clans of dwarves that came out of Alderaan, all tied themselves to a separate element. So you have the Dark Irons that went to worship fire. You have the Bronzebeard that started with earth, and they have a lot of ties to earth. The Wildhammers with wind, and then the Frostborn with water. And all 4 of them had a different element that they master. They have complete mastery over all of the 4 elements. So I thought that that's pretty cool that they added all 4 of them into the game like that.
Yeah.
Good job, Blizzard.
So I think we should move on to the Kul Tirans.
Okay,
we'll leave it on that.
Let's scooch over.
Yeah. Let's move on to Kul Tirans.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause for a second.
Any restroom break?
No, I just want to ask
anybody.
No. Does anyone need one?
No, I'm fine.
That's what I was making sure of.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, do you guys want to alternate who reads these things?
I think so.
Or-
Well, no, you're fine with reading the main part,
Oh, yeah.
but like
Okay,
after
okay.
we get to the main part, like I'm fine with alternating because I'm sure Rory wants to like tackle the Zandalari.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, cool.
See, I'm very biased. I'm really only well versed in lore with like anything necrotic, anything with necromancy. If it has to do with necromancy, I'm in it. Like
Well,
I'm in it.
Zandalari's got, I guess, none
Yeah,
of that.
Kultiras is all
Samdi.
about necromancy.
A little bit, but well, they do have a lot. I just don't like the Kul Tirans. I don't agree with the Kul Tirans being an
Okay.
allied race.
Oh.
That's weird.
Well, hang on. We got to get into that in a minute.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
I can back up Scrappy a little on that. So
I
Hold on
don't.
a
I
second.
disagree.
that's what it's all
I
about.
disagree because they're basically Valkyr. They're basically what is it? Vrykul.
Right, cool.
Yeah,
The
I mean, they
fat
can't
Vrykul.
add.
They're low budget, right?
Yeah, they can't. They can't add like full blown Vrykul because they would be too tall. But
I
the
mean,
Kul Tirans are pretty much there.
See, one of my complaints from a design perspective,
Sorry.
like, why are you going to give Alliance? Why are you going to give them Kul Tirans with basically an ogre model? Why can't you give us ogres? Like, I want an ogre.
Because they wanna
I want an ogre.
save that for
That's what I think.
Future.
they want to save that for the future. They're not gonna have any races if they give you all the good ones.
Okay,
That
let me
is true.
read. Let me read the notes, and then we can start arguing about them.
All right, yeah.
So the Kul Tiran humans, Wikipedia quotes, a specific breed of human that hail from the island nation of Kul Tiras. They are brawnier than their mainline cousins, but share a history spanning the wars with the Horde. Kul Tirans start out in the capital city of Borealis before reporting to their faction's embassy, much like all other allied races. They tend to ride horses like humans do, albeit a sturdier variety, and speak the same common language. A race preview from Blizzard. Kul Tiras was founded by fearless explorers who sailed uncharted waters in search of adventure. As a key member of the Alliance of Lordaeron, the Kul Tiran navy dominated the seas of Azeroth with its legendary fleet. But after years of turmoil and hardship, the kingdom grew isolated and vulnerable to dark influences. Thanks to the help of brave heroes, House Proudmoore has been restored, and Kul Tiras is poised to fight alongside the valiant Alliance once more.
Okay.
So with the Kul Tirans, okay, 2,700 years before the Dark Portal, after the Troll Wars, the humans of Arathor expanded their kingdom in size and power. Those who settled on the coastal regions known as Gilneas constructed a series of robust harbors. The boldest of the sailors eventually discovered a large island in the south that was rich with metal ores and valuable natural resources. The first of them became the Tide Sages, and they
I like the Tide
guided.
Sages.
Yeah, they're
They
pretty
are cool.
I wish that had been a class added in.
I give them that. I
That
wish.
kind of is a
just
class.
give us
That's shaman.
Give us a.
You can't
give
be
us
you can't be a
class skin.
human shaman.
No, you can with Kul Tiran,
Well,
can't you?
Well,
You can't be a
Tirans
Kul-
you can.
You can't be a Kul Tiran
Yeah.
shaman.
Yeah, you can.
No, you
Yeah, you
That's
can.
a class.
really?
Kul Tiran shamans, yeah.
Yeah.
You can.
Those are the Tide Sages.
Yeah.
Priest and shaman. Yeah.
I thought it was
As-
just druids.
No, they can be
No,
No,
shamans
they
as well.
can they can be druids too, which if a regular human can't be a druid, then I don't see why.
Nobody
They-
says a regular
Kul
human
Tiran.
can't be a human. Druid, rather. It's just the game doesn't allow it. But they have
is
human
interesting.
shaman. They have human shaman in when you do the shaman class hall. They have worshippers
Yeah.
of Alakir, the wind god,
Mhm.
Yeah.
the wind elemental wind lord or whatever, and so that guy is very into the wind. It's scary because he when
He likes
when
to break the
you
wind.
yeah no like when you talk to him, he like has like the rudest, like you should look that up online. It's hysterical. He like looks at you and he's like he's about to kill you, and every like breath you take, if you speak to him wrong, he's like he looks
So
down on you.
he's-
It's hysterical.
Oh
so
man.
he's the Nathanos of shamans.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
I would say so.
The elementals have always been kind of a-holes, but
Yeah, I
Elakir, he sees himself very high and mighty.
So they guided other Gilneans into that island that they found, and some of them stayed and find the mighty maritime outpost and named it Kul Tirans. Over the decades, these new cities continued to grow and develop their own unique customs. Following their arrival in Kul Tirans, the human colonists encountered the native Drust. Despite the humans' interventions of living in harmony with them, the large and hardy race did not welcome them amicably and would raid their settlers for generations. Thus was born the Order of Embers, an organization dedicated to counter these attacks.
And this
They
was my
remained
favorite part of BFA, playing through
Yeah.
the
Alliance.
questing, yeah.
Oh, that
The,
was.
the
Yeah.
questing of Drustvar I thought was fucking amazing. Sorry, freaking amazing. And
No, you can say the F word. You're okay.
Well, let's try to avoid it as much as we can. I want
Uh,
to play this like around my 6-year-old.
they
Well, yeah.
the whole concept was just really well thought through, and it engaged me so much. And it's something that I haven't had like in Najatar or in that stupid gnome place, whatever it's
Oh,
called.
I
No,
hated it.
I'm just
like,
I'm like, I don't want to
Mechagnomes.
be here. I
Yeah,
don't care
Mechagnomes.
about this. There's absolutely zero interest in me progressing through the story. I don't care. But with this I was super engaged with, and I wanted to do every quest I possibly could, every side quest.
I'll admit, even as like a horde fanatic, like Drustvar, that whole side of the quest
Drustvar was cool.
so widespread. Like you went from region to region to region, like not region to region, just environment to environment there.
Yeah.
Right. You get the dark, spooky woods, the snowy mountains. You go to the manors and the lovely looking towns. Like environmentally, I was pretty impressed with.
See, that's something that's different between me and you. Like, I didn't care too much about it. I was just like, meh. No, what really caught me was Vol'dun. Vol'dun was so cool. I thought that was
Vol'dun was cool.
awesome. It was so cool. And I think that's
Vol'dun and
why
Nazmir were both cool.
Nazmir I didn't care too much about.
Oh, I love Nazmir.
But
I
Nazmir
hated
was
Vol'dun.
fascinating.
Vol'dun is my worst. I was like, it's a bunch of fucking sand. Get me out of here.
See, I
The
liked
Sethrak were fun to,
Vol'dun.
like, go
They were.
against.
Yeah.
They were. I liked them as a race, but I was just like, I don't like snowy areas and I don't like deserts. And I'm like, this
You
environment.
don't like snowy or desert.
It's
No.
funny because there's a lot of people that actually like snow and sand, and there's people that don't. It's very polarizing. It's funny that you say that.
Like my favorite in WoD was Frostwolf. Like
Hated
in,
it.
in that
Really?
area.
I
loved
gotta go
it.
with Rich
I
on
loved
this
it.
one. I didn't like Vol'dun too much. I didn't like what is it? The freaking
Frostfire Ridge.
Crossfire
Crossfire
Ridge.
Ridge.
Crossfire
Sorry.
Ridge, yeah.
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 I mean, I appreciate it now. Like, I love going back to Draenor, but I liked Gorgrond a lot more because it had the
Gorgrond was
desert
awesome.
and forest, and then
Nagran.
Nagran was a
I love
beautiful.
that.
Talador
See,
is probably my all-time
Same.
favorite zone.
Plants.
See,
I like Talador a lot.
I love Nagran purely for the fact that I play an Orc Death Knight. So I kind of
Okay.
based my Death Knight off of Seraphing's son.
Yeah.
So
Oh, right.
so I love Nagran. Like
I
that's
feel
my
you.
little.
I
That's
like
my little
environments
place.
where there's more than one environment included in it, you know, or if
Oh
it
yeah.
like or it tells a whole story just from looking at the environment alone. Like if it's a single environment like Talador, but you see the ruined Draenei structures, you see Arakoa there, like
Yeah.
just when there's storytelling that's so vast in such a simple little spot, I think that's one of the best moments you can really endure through WoW. And there wasn't too much of that through Vol'dun, I thought, or
Yeah, that's what I
See,
thought.
I liked the isolated story that they, where you have to go off and you have to find this, and it's like, oh, she might be alive, kind of thing. Like, I loved that. It was like a mystery kind of thing, if that made sense, if that makes sense at all. Like, you had to be like, oh, well, is she alive? You found these notes, and you're
We
like,
should call ourselves the aspects of sidetracking.
yeah, aspect of getting off
I
the
said
topic.
that last tangent. No, well, the Kul Tirans remain in contact with the mainland and other human city-states for years, joining the Alliance of Lordaeron when it formed. Their military and naval force was the main fighting force, which benefited the human kingdoms until their leader, Dalen Proudmoore, died
Idiot.
fighting the orcs on Kalimdor.
He was
When
horrible.
the
though.
Alliance did not offer reciprocity for that, they withdrew from the Alliance.
You don't want to do this, so we're gonna leave.
Jaina.
Well,
You got similarities with Talanji in that kind of aspect. Just,
And I feel like that with
Oh,
her
yeah.
as well.
and same thing with well, I don't know. I was trying to think of someone else, but it just blanked out of my mind. Scrappy, you had a point you wanted to bring up as to why you don't think the Kul Tirans should be included.
I don't think that they should be included. I think that they should be customized for humans, and the reason
they're
why
like
is
twice the
'cause
size.
Okay, I totally misheard what you were.
so like what I mean is like Kul Tirans, what did you do? You get fat humans, like
It's
and
not that they're fat. They're also like Vrykul. Like they're big. They're a mix between like the big Vikings and the.
but we have human warriors.
Well, I actually gotta side with Uthos on this one.
Me too.
Because
Really?
Kul Tirans have
They're double the
such.
size. Yeah.
Well, it's not just the size. The Kul Tirans come from such a different culture
Yeah.
in general. You know,
Yeah.
Tide Sages, Druids,
The
Shot, like,
Druids.
everything we were just talking about.
They're so
Like,
fucking cool.
if we
What
were
is
to-
wrong with me?
Oh yeah, the
Jeez.
druids are really
Sorry.
cool.
And
I
like,
will say the druids are really cool.
The death.
And as
the
far as,
death,
like,
sorry.
we think that Magar should be its own allied, right? But I don't really think Magar should be a customized.
No,
race.
no, I really don't.
Yeah, so I think
That's-
that's the
I
same
don't either.
defense you could use for Kul
yeah.
Tiran.
Yeah. Well, Magar, I could buy Magar being either an allied race or part of the orc customization. To me, it wouldn't matter, but Kul Tiran's a whole different like body shape. It's just a different race altogether.
I should have used Zandalari as an example.
Well, I guess if you're thinking about it from like a game design perspective, the Dark Iron, the Maghar orcs, they could just be customization options that you unlock
Right.
when you unlock the race, and you can just create your
Right.
own. Whereas this isn't just taking like a standard human model and turning it into
Okay.
something like adding something to it or changing the color of it or something.
Yeah.
It's
Or making an
literally-
orc stand up straight. And
Exactly. It's
a whole
literally
different model.
completely different model. So from that perspective, I get it. And I guess from a lore perspective, I understand why they're kind of differentiating between the two, because the humans that are coming from Stormwind shouldn't be able to just turn into Drust.
Well,
Druid
see,
forms.
I think my biggest issue between I'm gonna like narrow it down to the female model. You have Jaina and you have Jaina's mom.
Mhm.
Why is Ashvane? Why is every girl model fat?
Not
And why
every
aren't they
girl.
fat?
Like, no. The thing is that
I mean, they're a specific breed, but why? Why are they a specific breed? Because they
but I
sail?
covered that, didn't I? They mixed with the Drust, which were Vrykul.
Okay.
So they got, happy fun times with them.
Okay,
and
so
then
then
their children.
the way.
so therefore why isn't Jaina and her mom fat?
Well, but they come from a different. They have more of a pure human
Okay.
Lineage.
bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
their
imagine if
bloodline is
the
more pure human.
leader of Kul Tiras, had to go at it, with the Drust, then I'm sure that won't
Yeah.
look too very good to the whole
Well,
kingdom in general.
I was just curious because something doesn't settle right with me. The fact that Lord Admiral is skinny, but we all have to be fat, if that makes sense. Like,
Well, it's
like
only
why is she so
some of the
different?
because only some of the Kul Tirans, like whose ancestry goes back to the ones who were fun with the Drust. Those are the only ones that had that gene in them to keep that going. So you'll see some Kul Tirans with that Kul Tiran accent, but they look like humans. But you can't play as them because you can only play as a Stormwind human. That's the only human that you can play.
Okay.
Most of the Gilneans that are around don't have the curse. Like there's only like I don't know what the number is, but it's not 100% of the Gilneans have the curse. So there are some Gilneans like
Okay.
Tess Greymane. Tess Greymane is a perfect
Tess
example.
doesn't.
She doesn't. She's just a human. In fact, the whole heritage thing was her trying to get the curse in order to
Oh yeah, yeah.
understand what her people went through. So if you want to play as a Gilnean who isn't a Worgen, you're screwed. That you're just a human.
Yeah.
You can RP
Yeah.
your brains out, but that's
Oh yeah.
just that's just what you are. So
Has someone's got a beeping in the background? Like boop, 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 boop.
Not me.
It's happening right now.
Hold on. Let me
I
click
hear
mute.
it. I do hear it. I don't hear it when Scrappy's on mute.
Yeah, I don't
Scrappy
hear it either.
unmute.
I'm unmuted.
It's Scrappy.
Oh, Scrappy.
Scrappy.
Sorry.
That's fine.
What?
I just started noticing it and I was like, I'm hearing this all the time. Oh no. And I'm really weird with sounds. So someone's listening to the podcast and they hear
I
that.
literally have nothing on but my computer.
What the hell is making a beeping noise?
I have
It's literally going beep, 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 beep.
Probably a fish tank or something. It sounds like it's some sort of.
See, no, I've
Do
only
you have a
got
fan
Bubs. No. I literally only have Mr. Bub's lights on, which they're just lights. And then I have my light on and the computer.
Hell.
Well, it's fun.
I mean, it's not super loud. It's like in the background. Anyway, I can probably creatively do something.
Oh, that's why I
You
try to
don't need
leave
to, it's
my
fine.
stuff muted in case his wife
It's
walks
fine. It's
in
fine.
or
It's fine.
whatever.
It's not like blaming. Just noticed it and I was like, "Ooh, can we stop it somehow?" But we can't, so it's fine.
So yeah,
Maybe I have a
the
notification.
Yeah, maybe that could be it. The Kul Tirans are the if you want to play as a big burly Kul Tiran, what?
Scrappy's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
No!
Scrappy, come
Oh,
back!
we lost him.
Rich, does this annoy you? Does this annoy you? You look annoyed. I'm gonna say yes.
Well, put the mic so I could hear it. If not, all right.
Okay.
No,
Wait.
it's I have like this thing. It's more with repetitive noises. I can't stand repetitive noises. It's called misophonia, or like someone. I'm not even gonna tell you what I can't stand. But I really can't stand it. It makes me want to throw up. If I hear someone
wow.
chewing,
Oh, you
oh,
just picky.
oh, no, it makes me want to throw up.
It's
And
funny
holes.
because
Holes. I can't handle little tiny holes. Mm-mm.
really, that's just odd.
No, it's called trippa.
I thought that's only with threes.
Trypophobia.
Yeah, I thought that's only with 3 holes, like 3, like the iPhone thing.
No, that doesn't bother me. No, that's fine. It's like lots of holes. We just reached 250 downloads.
I saw that. Woo!
I was like,
Yeah.
that's sick. for like only having 3 episodes out.
Well, this Saturday we'll have 4.
Well, Sunday here.
And then you can do Sunday, and then you can do the thing with Audible, right?
Yes, it'll let me do it then. Oh, Scrappy's in the waiting room. Let me admit him. There he is.
Trypophobia.
It's the worst.
Okay.
Look, it's stupid. I shouldn't be scared of them, but they just make me feel really sick.
Yeah, I don't hear the beeping anymore.
I do.
You do?
I do too. It's not really a beeping. It's like
What's wrong with them? What is it?
Scrappy talk.
Okay. So I'm here. I'm talking.
I only hear it when Scrappy talks.
Poor Scrappy.
Hold on. I think I hear it. It's
Yeah,
my
I
PC.
have a bottle right here.
Oh.
Oh.
It's my PC. It's because I don't have any cold air going, so
Really
it's
wants
like
to eat.
it only does it whenever
Oh,
I have the air.
it'll do the thing to cool off. That
Yeah.
makes sense. All right, come on.
Here, I'm gonna mute myself. Y'all keep talking.
You don't have to.
No,
mute
no,
yourself.
it's not like bad. I was just like, what is it? Do we
It
know
just
what it
bothers
is?
Rich,
Yeah, it's
so we don't
like
really
it's like
care.
a pulse. It annoyed me on stream last night. I was like, because I cut the air off to reduce the noise, and I was like, what is that? Okay.
Oh well. Well,
I think we can move on, right?
yeah. Is it time to get to the Zandalari?
They're special.
Oh my
Oh, they're
Ooh.
super special.
They are one of my favorite races.
The
Really?
Zandalari.
Really?
Coming
is
from
one of the-
Alliance,
funny.
that's
Really? They're one of the core races of
They're-
Azeroth.
I
Interesting
love them.
because we'll talk about it.
Okay,
when we get into
so
that.
I'm just gonna So the Wowpedia notes are: they are the progenitors of all troll kind, and as such rule an ancient, powerful empire upon the South Seas. After which they name themselves. So they live in Zandalar. That's why they're Zandalari. Talanji is their queen. We discussed her at great length.
Yep.
Through Shadows Rising. The race preview that we get from Blizzard when you're looking at potentially starting or unlocking the Zandalari is as follows. Descended from the first troll tribes, the Zandalari are an ancient kingdom steeped in ritual and superstition. Their warriors ride mighty dinosaurs into battle, and they possess one of the most formidable fleets in the known world. But as enemies encroach upon the borders of Zuldazar, unrest within the King's Council threatens to topple the Empire. If the heroes of the Horde can return stability to Zandalar, they would gain a powerful new ally.
Hmm.
And hell yeah, they did.
Powerful they are.
They are
Very powerful.
I remember seeing that. I as much as like I'm an Alliance leaning person at the moment, it's mostly due to aesthetics of like the main city. If I have to be an Orgrimmar, I don't want to be Horde. But the trolls are like they're my number one race. I love them.
Trolls are pretty cool.
And finding out like going through everything, like Vol'jin I was obsessed with. I always played a Dark Spear when there was the protecting, what was it? It was something of dark spear. You could gain a title during a specific like quest line. It was a while ago. It was during I think the
Is it
Siege of
Yeah,
Orgrimmar.
Kata.
Yeah.
No, it was during Kata.
Kata, sorry.
Was it? Was it Kata?
Right, because that's when we took back the Echo Isles from Zeldazane.
Yes. And ever since then,
we took back the gnome place and the troll place.
no more
And then
gone.
they got their own, they got their own starting experience after that because it used to be that they started with the dwarves and they started with the orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was
Okay.
so much better once you could start on the Broken Isles. Not Broken Isles, the
So
So in
like
terms,
I
you were
feel
gonna.
bad because I do not have a single troll, but I love trolls.
Okay, that's fine.
I
Trolls
love
have
trolls.
such a unique culture to them. They're
Mhm.
fun
Yeah.
voices, fun aesthetics. They're fun to just watch in general. And there's so many different personalities depending on the tribes. Like you have the
Oh
savage and
yeah.
brutish and the berserking, and then you have the bit more sophisticated and quiet into the shadows. Like it's just so fun to see all around what these guys do, and they always have a spot in WoW history. Like they are
See,
always going to be
Absolutely.
in Azeroth
with
history. They
the different troll tribes, I was playing Warcraft 3 yesterday, and I thought it was so cool because I was playing with Orc, and you get trolls as like a little thing that you summon from your barracks.
Well, yeah,
And
it's the original
yeah,
formation of the horde there.
and you get to upgrade Berserker, and you get
Oh
a
yeah.
troll regeneration, just like with is it Zul'jin? Zul'jin?
Well,
Mhm.
He
all the trolls have that as their racial.
Yeah, but I thought it was weird that Zul'jin or Zul'jan, however you want to
Mm-hmm.
pronounce it,
Zul'jin.
Zul'jin, you had it right the first time.
he had his arm cut off, but it never regenerated back.
He chose. You can
He chose
control.
not to.
He chose not to bring it back to remember what they did to him.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like the thing. So they were the most powerful and superstitious tribe to arise
Who's
when the
that?
first trolls settled the Zandalari.
Oh, okay.
When the trolls first settled near the Zandalar Mountains, which were the home to many Loa, and they climbed to the highest peaks and built crude shrines, which over the years eventually became the massive temple city of Zuldazar.
Hey,
The
Uthos,
Zandalari, yeah.
could I do the dive on this one? I really
Oh
like
yeah,
these
go
guys. Okay,
go
I
for it.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Start again though.
You want me to start over? Okay.
Yeah, start from the
All right.
start, and then I'll edit.
All right. So as far as the Zandalari go, they were the most powerful and superstitious tribe to arise when the first trolls settled near the Zandalar Mountains, which were home to many Loa. They claimed its highest peaks and built crude shrines, which over the years eventually became the massive temple city of Zuldazar. So the Zandalari are scholarly and value knowledge above all else. They also work to preserve troll history and to further the goals of troll society as a whole. They are masters of magic and communing with the spirits.
It's
Zandalari.
really oh sorry, it's really interesting from like if you think back to before the Zandalari were kind of released as a race per se, like going, we had to fend them off for the majority of Mists of Pandaria.
Yeah.
And to think that they're like scholarly and really in tune with knowledge and understanding what's going on, I guess from my perspective anyway, when you have a race that's particularly scholarly and wanting to learn things, they wouldn't kind of act out in the way that the Zandalari did during the
Well,
Mists of
the
Pandaria.
Zandalari had a very big history with the Mogu and the Thunder King.
Yeah.
They relied on one another for a good portion of time. So they made a deal way back, and they had an obligation to bring back the Thunder King in general. So they were. I wouldn't really say they were out against the
Also,
Lions, Horde, and Pandas. They were just.
they were
Is
retconned to be the stuff that we saw in Mop was just Zul's group that had nothing not nothing that had little to do with what Rostakhan was trying to achieve. And also they have a priest, a Zandalari priest in every tribe, in order to get all of the knowledge from that every tribe has, to bring it back to Zandalar. And the Zandalari were the tribe that helped us in Classic when the Gurubashi was trying to summon Hakar, I think.
Or yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I always thought it was interesting as a kid playing WoW. Why can a troll almost be every single class?
Well, again, one of the core races of Azeroth. These
Oh
guys
yeah, yeah,
have.
yeah.
They've known the light. They've known the shadows. They've known the elements. They've known the demons. So
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
mean,
fair
even-
enough.
And
Even
that's the
look at
thing, because the Zandalari had priests in every tribe. They brought the knowledge back to Zandalar and shared it with the other troll tribes. So anytime any troll tribe found out how to do something, the Zandalari would get that knowledge and share it with the other troll tribes through their priests. So that's why trolls have the most diversity. And it's all thanks to the Zandalari. So by them joining the Horde, you actually get every troll tribe
Yeah.
with the ability to partake, and we'll get into that in the next episode. But
Damn
So-
straight we will.
Zandalari society has remained an unchanging hierarchy for thousands of years. Hardworking farmers, fishers, and craftsmen form the peasant caste, the foundation of the empire. Zandalari elders tell them what to harvest, when to plant, and how to behave. To disobey the elders is to disobey the gods, an offense punishable by exile or death. The Zandalari
We
warrior
should have
caste.
that.
What? Oh, in real life?
Yeah.
yeah, we should have that on the
Rory,
show.
Scrappy, can you guys
That's-
just go send
Away.
me some beer?
What the fuck?
Okay, or we're gonna be exiled,
All right, what is it? Exile or death?
No, neither. You don't need to do either.
Exile.
Have you disobeyed?
Do I have to sleep on the couch tonight? Is it?
Yes, that's how it works.
now. Yeah, how it works.
Sorry, go on. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good. You're good. The Zandalari warrior caste sits above the peasantry, acting as the arms of the king and the might of the council. Dexterity is not prized among the Zandalari warriors. Brute force, backed by ancient magics, is the preferred combat style. Dictating every aspect of Zandalari society down to the very last detail are the scholars of the priesthood. Masters of magic and communing with the spirits, these respected bastions of knowledge stand upon 15 millennia worth of accumulated knowledge. The highest of these have a seat on the Zankoli Council, which both advise the king and ensures his every command is executed upon. Now, Queen Talanji. Castless orphan children are tested for any sign of connection to the Loa. Those blessed by the Loa receive full priest training and all of the honor and privilege that accompanies it.
And that's quite nice.
Yeah, I mean the Zandalari. There's plenty of savage troll tribes.
Yeah, and they're not.
They're not. They're very prideful, but not savage.
Yeah.
So my question.
Yes,
why
they're the
can they-
progenitors.
Why can they be rogues?
Zandalari?
Well,
But yeah, because it's not.
they have spies everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have spies, but okay.
I mean, so
Yeah.
can pandas
And also, they're an island nation, so there's a lot of pirates in their community. And so
there
they
is a lot. So
especially-
yeah. You can
Hey,
say
see what
all-
goes on in the slums of Zandalar? Or sorry, Zoldazar?
Yeah, yeah.
The Zandalari Empire was heavily dependent on the caste system, and as time went on, those castes evolved into their own people. The lower castes eventually left the Zandalari Empire, and the Zandalar trolls were content to see them go, seeing them as children who would see the folly of youthful rebellion and come back begging for Zandalari approval. However, the
That's,
trolls would not
those are the boomers.
Yeah, the Zandalari are the boomer trolls.
Yeah, they're the boomers.
However, the trolls would not return. Over time, two distinct troll empires emerged: the Amani Empire of the Middle Forest Lands and the Gurubashi Empire of the southeastern jungles. Smaller tribes lived as far north in the region now called Northrend. Lived far north in the region now called Northrend. These tribes founded a small nation known as Zoldrak, but they never achieved the size or prosperity of the southern empires.
Which
And
I
I
can
believe
kind of
and
was
they
understand.
that the
ended
Drakari?
up- Yeah, the Drakari all died.
Yeah,
They
I would imagine
decided
there's
to eat their Loa,
yeah.
and that was a big mistake.
I mean,
Their Loa didn't appreciate that.
here's a little tidbit on the Drakari. So there's still one Drakari that we know of in Zoldazar, because they have I believe a hall of like forgotten tribes or destroyed tribes.
Right.
Yeah.
You see a Drakari
Forgotten
there.
Yeah,
Tribe.
from specifically the Drakari one, but there are other ice trolls, like by the dwarf area, there's
Yeah.
ice trolls there. So there's other ice troll tribes, but the Drakari specific, that tribe has a really bad connotation. They don't, every other troll looks down on that tribe. because of the fact that they ate their Loa,
Yeah.
and that's a really big no no.
Well, they were a
trolls.
desperate try. I know we're supposed to be talking about the Zandalari, but I do want to go a bit into the Drukhari, and how they disassembled. Like it's a quick tidbit too. They had the Scourge on one side, they had the Alliance on the other. Now the big mistake they made
And the
was,
Horde, because they alienated the Horde.
Yeah.
in
the Horde offered.
Grizzly
They
Hills.
the Horde wanted safe passage to their lands,
Right.
and they even offered to help fight on the end that they were dealing with the Scourge. But
Yes.
they definitely took that Zandalari pride with them when they went, and they were very prideful, and they fought. They were aggressive towards the Horde, so the Horde was like, "All right, well, you asked for it."
And then so they saw no other choice but to align themselves with Arthas.
Yeah.
And make a deal with the Scourge. I mean, instead of making a deal with the Alliance or the Horde, they decided, oh, the Scourge is the better way to go.
Questionable
And-
choices.
Yeah.
Questionable choices.
And then they went on to eat their Loa to get more power.
So
don't-
disgusting.
I don't get it.
See, the whole eating of Loa, I think
That goes back.
It goes back, but I think it's also going to be explained in Shadowlands a little bit, because there's a lot of explaining whenever we went to Northrend. There's a lot. I mean, with Arthas by himself. I mean, if you
Right.
look at Uther's stuff, if you look at Uther's stuff, he's like, it was vengeance. It wasn't justice done to Arthas.
Right. That whole tidbit. That's
Yeah.
going to be interesting when it plays out.
So
Um,
just taking that alone, I feel like there is going to be a lot of explaining that needs to be
Yeah, but
done.
I don't know how much necessarily Blizzard is going to get into with the Drukhari until they need it. They're not going to really tap on that.
Yeah. But
We're going to be seeing the Sand Fury joining the Horde.
yeah, the Sand Trolls. Yeah, again,
They
the
did.
Zandalari are the forefront, like on that tree. Like the Ice
They're
Trolls come
number
from
one.
them. Sand Trolls, Dark Trolls, Forest Trolls, Jungle, Blood, all of them come from Zandalari. The Dark Trolls ended up becoming the Night Elves, which ended up becoming the Nightborn, the High Elves, the Satyr, Naga, Worgen, like
Blood elves.
all of those
Was-
all of those come from the Zandalari.
Okay, Zandalari.
They're the
was-
progenitors. They're the progenitors of the race, so they are the first troll. That's like confirmed. Everything that you see afterwards comes from them. So the Dark Spear and which are an offshoot of the Gurubashi, they come from the Zandalari, and they started like hunching over out of a sign of respect for the other races. So they wanted to come down to your level to talk to you. And that's why they started hunching over, so they could respectfully speak to orcs. And
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
That's where that comes from. So that's
so is that
where
why the Zandalari stand up? They're
they don't
upright?
care.
They don't care.
They're not. Yeah, they're not looking to be humble. They're looking to be proud. So they
Yeah.
won't come down to you. They expect you to come up to them and look up to them as they should be looked up to.
Now the Zandalari, they've had quite the rise and fall throughout WoW history. Plenty of times, and one of the biggest factors to that, and again I keep saying this a lot, but it was their pride. Pride doesn't go very far in the world of Azeroth. In the world of Warcraft, so many people have fallen because of their pride, their refusal. And it was interesting to see this turn for the Zandalari, casting aside that pride, allowing the Horde to come in. Like, we even see a little bit of Talanji in Shadows Rising. Again, like, I don't know, it's
Right.
like just a natural
Oh,
heritage thing.
Yes, it's just
But-
the way they are.
I think so.
Yeah.
Whenever she wanted to talk to her dad, I looked at it as that was a prideful thing. That was something that was traditionally done. Like, if I could
You
talk
spoke
to
to your
the
elders.
spirits, speak
Yeah.
to your elders, like get some guidance. I thought that was one of the prideful aspects of that book.
Like, it's not like they didn't deserve it. Like, they formed mighty, mighty, mighty kingdoms. The only thing that really rivaled them were the Night Elves. And
Yeah, and they had the help of a loon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
it's not like-
they hate elves.
Yeah, they I believe it's mostly the jungle trolls and the Cinderai, the blood elf or high elves at the time. Sorry,
The
that
Gurabashi
mainly
hates elves too.
yeah, the forest and jungle trolls hate the elves. The Zandalari and the
Right.
night elves actually formed. I mean, I
An
pretty sure I
alliance.
read that.
Ashara.
Yeah, Zandalari like was pretty aggressive to the night elves at first, but after seeing like their vast kingdoms, how much more of a system they had put down, they did form a bit of an alliance, a trade establishment. So back when they had their Pangea before the Sundering, like the
Yeah.
Zandalari
Right.
and
And so the other thing is that they learned the ways of the arcane because of the Mogu.
Yeah.
So so if in lore, the mages really come from like Titan constructs because of Titan, arcane order, and all of that. So the orcs and the ogres have a natural affinity for it because they come from the Titan construct of the Grand. And in Azeroth, you have the natural affinity to it coming from the humans, which are descendants of the Vrykul, which are descendants of Titan constructs. In the Zandalari's case, they learned their arcane from the Mogu, who they had a pact with for many years.
yeah.
And the speculation that we have, because we don't have any confirmation of how the Night Elves got that information, it seems like the Zandalari share their knowledge with the other troll tribes. So there's nothing that indicates that the Dark Trolls didn't get the knowledge of the arcane from the Zandalari, because they work back and forth with the priests. So anything they learn, they give back to the other troll tribes, so
Mhm.
that everybody is on the same page. There's nothing that indicates that the Dark Trolls didn't get that knowledge from the Zandalari, and as time went on and they evolved, they could have gotten it, their mastery over the arcane, and they could have had that from the Zandalari to what they became, and then that was a powder keg of its own, because that
Alright.
caused a lot of problems.
From Scrappy to me, let's all list off our favorite troll tribe descendant of the Zandalari. So Scrappy, what troll tribe catches your eye the most? I'll just go over them all. There's the ice trolls, which include the Drakari and the ones we find in I forgot their tribe name.
Drakari.
I think
is,
he's gonna say Drakari because of the
Eh,
death
The neck.
thing.
Death and permanency.
Yeah, I knew right away. He didn't even have to ask.
Yeah. it was either Drakari or Gurabashi.
Yeah, the Gurbashi are cool. So the Gurbashi are the forest trolls.
I love those.
There's the sand trolls, the dark trolls, which I think we only know one of. The one that's in the Forgotten Tribe
Yeah.
hall.
Right, but that doesn't mean that there aren't more dark
Yeah.
trolls.
I'm sure there were some dark trolls in Warcraft 3 during the battle
Right.
for
Oh, yeah.
Hyjal. You could recruit them as
Yeah.
mercenaries.
Oh,
Right,
Um,
I remember that.
I'm just trying to think of other
story-wise,
instances.
There was like 3 in Warcraft 3, I think 3 or 4.
Yeah,
Rich.
So there was quite a bit, and then they kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rich, which troll tribe is your favorite?
I just love the Dark Spear.
The the jungle. They're jungle trolls, right? The dark
Yeah.
spear.
yeah, they're Gorbashi.
Yeah,
Gurbashi.
Gurabashi. I think forest and jungle are like two different types of troll
Yeah,
tribes.
Gurabashi and Dark Spear are different because the Gurabashi were very hateful towards the elves, but the Dark Spear weren't, because that's kind of the reason why you have
The
blood elves.
Darkspear were treated badly by the
Yeah.
Gurbashi.
Yeah.
The Gurbashi alienated the Darkspear and cast them out, and that's why in Warcraft 3 they said they joined the orcs because of that. They felt a oneness with the orcs for that. I personally like the Zandalari the best out of all
Yeah.
of the trolls, because they're the most interesting in my opinion. I think they bring like so much history,
Mhm.
and they also have like a better attitude towards like really revere magic and their type of priest is very Loa centered because they stuck with the Loa from the very beginning, and they were favored by the Loa and they favored the Loa. So I think that's interesting because the other tribes that came off of them really dealt with other Loas. Like the Sand Fury went
Amani.
for like a whole different set of Loas that, I mean, they shared some, but you don't see Bwamsandi that much in the Sand Fury. They went straight for the OG Mozala.
Yeah.
They were like from the beginning very towards that.
I think there's a reason why that they went to Mazala and not Bwonsamdi. But
Well, he's the first one. He's the first Loa of Death. So he was.
Does someone have TV on in the background?
Yeah, no, I can hear TV.
I don't have any TV.
I totally heard someone.
Yeah, I can hear too.
It's probably someone
It's-
next door. Probably.
Like
No, I can
only
hear
thing.
it.
Like talking.
Okay. Yeah, it's next door.
Can you
it's
just
like
give them
my-
a pounding, just like
Yeah.
knock it off?
Excuse me?
Let me
Don't
let
do
me
that.
look at
That's
let me
not
look
good.
at let me
Yeah.
no.
Not on camera.
I'll do it.
We don't want to see your bearded dragon again.
Yeah, no.
No offense. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Is there anything we really want to go over more of the Zandalari? I mean, there's so
I think
much
we're pretty
to
much
them.
done. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of it, but I think we got the gist of it.
Yeah, we said we're not going to do a deep dive, and that means going forward, if we ever do
Gotcha.
want to, we can.
Yeah.
And we've got 3 races.
Well, two
left.
more for the end of this episode, and then from
I think we
Void
should-
Elves on, we could do.
Oh,
the
we're
next
gonna. Are we gonna?
episode.
Okay,
Yeah.
that
I think
works.
we should
yeah.
do. I think we should at least bring up the gist of Void Elves, and then towards the end
Well,
we'll
let's
mention.
see. We could tease it.
I think we should.
We could just tease it. Because then we could do Mechagnomes, Vulpera, do that email, and then start out with the Void Elves. And because the thing is that the Void Elves is going to bring specifically High Elves, which bleed into the Blood Elf customization options. Because the High Elves are coming back. And there's a lot to talk about with High Elves.
High Elves are
because
going to the
people
Horde
have-
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why.
Yeah, dude.
People
that's
have
crazy.
very big opinions about High Elves.
Well, should we?
you say High Elves in freaking Reddit, and you get 17 people like yelling at you for no reason at all. Like,
Yeah.
just like, how dare you even mention High Elves? Blah blah blah. I want the real High Elves.
How long is this episode so far?
It's with the Mechagnomes and Vulpera. That's gonna make it a
Good hour and a
tiny
half.
bit over an hour.
That's it.
Hour and a half. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of technical issues, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to. Sorry, Rich.
I mean, yeah, you're going to have to do a lot of cutting, but
I am, but that's fine.
But
I'm used to
then
that.
after Vulpera and Mechagnomes, like when we start with
Yeah,
the
we
Void
could-
Elves, we could just go right into the customizations and discuss
should
what
we?
that means.
Should we, as far as the Void Elves go, should we just touch on the Wowpedia notes we have for them and the race preview, and then we could bring up straight from there. Like, we'd love to dive more into the Void Elves. However, there's a lot, however you described it, with the High Elves joining in and stuff. And we have quite the amount of opinions
Well,
ourselves.
I think we should just do the tease at the end and be like, and we'll talk about
I think we should get
High
like.
Elves.
Why don't we get a soundbite of like Illyria, like battling with the
you could
void.
you could have gotten the whole intro thing from all. If you really wanted to go through the work, you could have gotten the whole intro, started an
For every
allied
single
race, and
race?
then just
Yeah.
recorded it and put it in instead of having Rich read it. But that's way too much work. That's why I just put in the quotes to have Rich read
No
it.
thanks.
You know, we could
Because it's
also,
just easier.
if we want to
So much
find like
easier.
little snidbits of like for Dark Iron Dwarves, we'll have like Moira say a line, and then we go into their notes. Then like for Kul
Yeah,
Tirans,
that
we'll
sounds like
have.
a lot of work that Rich
All
is
right, all right,
not
all
willing
right.
to do. That's just
It's all right, Rich.
It's
that's just
it
extra.
is and it isn't. If I know when I'm doing the editing, it's fine. But like if I had to retrospectively go back and do the previous episode, that would
No,
be
no,
frustrating.
it's just.
But I could
it's
do it
just
on this
silly.
one.
You don't need
I
to
can-
do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we can do it
I
on
could
this.
do it on this
We
one.
could just start doing something. We could get a bit more accustomed to that kind of
But
thing.
you want to get something, because you already read the intro, so that's really not a big deal. But you want to cut something, if you could find where King Rastakhan said, and you could probably find this on YouTube, says like his whole speech when you first get like as a horde member go in there, and he's like, while you people were in the caves, we were at the we were
Yeah.
building a civilization.
Yeah, we
like
could just have that line.
Yeah.
That whole thing, he goes into it with like 2-3 lines about how while everybody was playing with sticks in caves, we were already like one of the greatest civilizations that Azeroth has ever known. That you could put in.
Yeah.
Mm, I
We
would do
just
that.
we'll just find little snidbit. That's what I meant. Like with Dark Iron, we'll have Moira give a quick line about the Dark Iron. If we can find one, I'm sure. Like I'll contribute as well. I'll try to
Yeah,
look
I
through
don't
YouTube
know.
and stuff. But
I know
that's
that
great.
one
If you can
for sure.
either if there's anything that you like that you see in terms of that, because I found out that I can use Adobe Audition, which is fucking sick, and it is so much easier to use than Audacity. So if you can send me the MP3s or whatever that you find, then I can really easily just slot them in. That's not
okay,
a
yeah,
problem.
I'll take a look right after this. After
Okay.
check enough baby. And as you're editing throughout the week, I'll give you snidbits that I find.
Yeah,
on
anything that you find,
Kul
send them
Tirans,
across.
Zandalari,
I'm
and then the
prob-
Void Elf Mechagnomes. I don't know. Vulpera,
I don't
can
know
do.
either. I know nothing about. I hate Mechagnomes.
Yeah, the Void Elves. We can find Illyria, giving a little hint.
Oh,
and then we'll say-
yes.
And we'll dive into them next time. Yeah. So.
And I was gonna say something else. I probably won't edit this until Saturday.
That's fine. It uploads Sunday then?
Yeah. Well, I'll put it immediately.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, that's fine. Do we still want to try something Thursday? Or do we want to use...
We want to see as much as we can get before Matt starts yelling at me saying like, you're getting too into it and not helping out enough or whatever. At that point, then we could. I'm not. We're not gonna cut until I get in trouble. Then it's like, oh, I didn't know. I had no idea that you were struggling with the baby screaming in another room.
Oh my
My
god, I
headphones
would have
are on.
immediately if I knew.
Michi's really supportive, surprisingly. He hates WoW, but
Really?
oh yeah. He loves Overwatch.
Yeah. We can't play if you're on the European server.
We can play. I can just move over to the. If you play Overwatch, I'll move.
I used to play
Oh,
a
Overwatch.
lot of fucking Overwatch, man.
Well, I can just literally click here and then click on.
you know
Where it
what?
is. Oh, look, I'm here. I'm there. I'm on right now.
All right. Let's see. Your little Dark Iron mole machine yourself,
Is that an insult or a compliment?
No. I mean, take
Or
it.
a little
when you
of
see
both.
it. I don't know. Dark Iron mole machines are pretty cool, so I guess it's a compliment. It was
Okay.
kind of like I was trying to make it like a backhanded compliment, but then I was like, well,
That's just
they're not all that bad.
No. Where's Scrappy?
He's beating his neighbors up real quick.
I'm just gonna open Overwatch then quickly and see what happens when I click it.
I will reinstall Overwatch, but just to play a little, maybe for like future episodes where we do gameplay together and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I was playing this new game that just came out called Fall Guys. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Yeah, I definitely have. All of my colleagues are playing it.
It's so fun.
Jesus.
Are you
Dude.
okay?
Yeah. No, I went and looked next door and they're like, they've got their dog out. You probably can hear it.
Yep.
yeah, they got their dog out and they're sitting there, and I was like, hey, so I'm kind of doing something. Like, they're normally pretty chill. They're just like, all right, whatever, because they know I do music at this part of my house,
Yeah.
not the other side, because this is the smallest room. So I was like, I'm gonna take smallest room, give the bigger rooms to the kids. And so they were like, oh, okay. So give me like 20 minutes. And I was like, I just got to feed my dog, got to get him out, let him use the bathroom, and we're good. And I was like, okay. I was like, just give me like a couple hours. And I was like, you can have the rest of the night to yourself. And they were like, all right. So, yeah.
So
they're
why'd
pretty
you come
chill.
in? Why'd you come in sweating? Like you just were like,
Oh, dude, it's hot.
oh,
I'm in South Georgia.
it's like did you just watch
Or
Cops
no,
or something? Like
I'm
you
not in
just...
South Georgia. I'm in like Chattanooga, Tennessee area. Like, I'm literally 10 minutes from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. So it's
Gotcha.
hot.
I don't know what
Really
that
hot.
means, but I'm guessing that's really hot.
It's one of the highest crime rate cities of America.
Oh, that's great. Lovely.
Yeah, it's like it's easily in top 10, easily. Because where I used to live, there was a gunshot across the street every 3 months.
Oh, nice.
Shit.
See, I'm actually like I'm legitimately scared to come back to the States now. Because I feel like I'm gonna
Oh,
get
with
shot.
all this
I just
stuff
think
going on?
like remove COVID from the equation, I'm still scared to come back to the States because I feel like I'm gonna get shot. Because
No, it's not
there are
too
no
bad.
guns here. There are no guns, like none. Guns don't exist here. They're just not here. Whereas when I lived there, we had a handgun and 2 shotguns.
Oh, yeah, there
Well,
are a lot of guns here. That's for sure.
I do own 2 guns, and I
See, look at this.
I have 3 guns, but I mean, you know,
see,
they're
I
for
own
work.
them. I own them purely for protection, because I own right now, until I decide to move, I am on about 2.5 acres of land. So there's like a whole backyard of nothing but forest, and people like to walk through it. So just in case.
It's so scary. And my friends here are always like, "Did you never get shot?" And I was like, "No, why would I get shot?" And like everything I see online, I'm like,
Oh
"Why
no,
didn't
wanna-
I get shot?
Do
How
we
did
wanna
I
wrap
not
up-
get shot?"
Do
Sorry.
we want to wrap up Zandalari real quick?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
We can... No,
Yeah.
you're good. Like we're almost done. We got just Vulpera and Mechagnomes next.
Okay,
So,
so let's move on to the Mechagnomes. Did we wrap up Zandalari?
well, let's give a little outro to Zandalari.
Okay. They're fucking rad.
Yeah, the Zandalari are pretty sick. I mean, just...
I will mute. I'll beep. I'll start beeping myself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mike. I mean, Uthos. I'm just gonna stop talking. I'm just gonna
No,
slide
you're good.
away.
You're good. I just, we have this whole concept of a troll empire that wants knowledge upon knowledge, that rides mighty beasts and dinosaurs into battle, that harbor and protect ancient beings on Azeroth and worship them and harness their powers. Like, there's just so much to these guys. There's so much that descends from them. But above all, their pride. It just, everything comes crashing down because of that crap.
In my opinion, these Zandalari are the closest to orcs that you can get without being an orc. They're prideful. They ride beasts into battle just like orcs do, or used to. Orcs are becoming humans, in my opinion. They are. I mean, because of Thrall.
I would say orcs. I wouldn't say too much prideful. I'd say it's a lot more wrath induced. Like they're a lot more bloodthirsty back then. At least, like if you look at Gromosh, for example, like all he wanted to do was kill.
Yeah.
And even when the demon blood was finally settled with those guys, and they started to calm down, like they were just tribes. They were
Yeah.
pretty civil people at first. They even traded with Draenei when they first settled down. Like they weren't anything crazy until the demon blood came in. I wouldn't say it's pride with the orcs, but with Zandalari, there's not like standing high and tall compared to the other races, as Uthos brought up, that actually would hunch down and talk to you. Like these guys, like you saw how many were so hesitant about the horde joining.
Mm-hmm.
You saw how many were so hesitant about sticking to just one Loa. They just, I don't know. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like their pride has worked out for them in some cases as well. But a lot of downfalls in their empire, and not just Zandalari, but trolls in general, have been pride.
I think the biggest thing to do a pride connection to orcs would be orcs' connection and their pridefulness of their ancestry. Just the way, like example, Makara. Like that's a prideful thing. That's an orc thing.
Yeah, but that's a
something.
good kind of pride, you know. Like the orcs are very traditional, I'd
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
rather than prideful. I'd say the
I mean,
closest
look
you'd
at
get. I'd say the
Garrosh.
night elves are probably the closest you could get to the Zandalari. The Highborn, at least, I think, are the closest
Yeah.
you'd ever get. Like just like the Zandalari, they were a prideful people. They had their lowborn that they spit upon. They, they absolutely refused to. Like a lot of them refused to join the resistance just for the sake of being a Highborn. Um, so and all they wanted more power. They wanted more power, and so the
Who
Burning
doesn't?
Legion came along. So I think that's the closest race I'd compare to the Zandalari. But anyways, Zandalari we're gonna have to save for like a whole nother video on their own because there's so much more to talk about. We'll move on to everybody's favorite race in all of World of Warcraft, the Mechagnomes. Right?
No.
Who's with me, guys?
No.
Why? Why?
No.
Just
Yeah. No.
why do I have to deal with this to fly? This is
I hate them.
I hate them. I hate them.
Come
Just-
on, these guys are pioneers, man. These
They're
guys
just
are
annoying.
They're
they're
they're just
smart.
they're gnomes that said, "Hey, here's my arm. Cut it off. Let's put a robotic arm."
They're
That's all they are.
robot arms, man. Like,
No.
how cool is that, right?
No.
It's the antithesis of
No.
cool.
Do you want to go into the
Okay.
Wowpedia notes, Rich?
I will. So, a pioneer group of gnomes that settled Mechagon Island in search of Titan technology, they began to enhance their mortal bodies with steel and robotics. They have since reconnected with their cousins from Nomergon, and alongside their prince are led by King Gelbin Mechatork.
Nice.
Now, the race preview from Blizzard is long ago, a faction of zealous gnomes set out on a quest to improve their bodies and minds. Settling on the isolated isle of Mechagon, they experimented with ancient technology to reverse the curse of flesh and become living machines. After facing the perils of full mechanization, they found the ideal balance between flesh and steel. Now reunited with their gnomish cousins, the Mechagnomes bring both tenacity and ingenuity to the Alliance.
No one asked for
Oh.
this.
No one
No
wants
one.
this.
This is the worst possible allied race, and everything is wrong with this allied race.
Agreed.
They screw up your transmog, which is an unforgivable sin.
Agreed.
That to me, like the whole point is like if you mess with my transmog, you're done. And to be honest with you, this should have been the Sethrak that was
I think
introduced
so.
as an
Yeah.
alliance race instead of the Mechagnomes, because the Sethrak is actually a race that people want. Nobody asked for this. This could have been a customization option. I know this is the third race that I say this about, and honestly, if you just took away those three races, it would be just the same.
I think
This should have been the
Mechagnomes,
Sethrak.
the Mechagnomes people
Yeah.
wanted would have been like Mimron, for example. If fully robotic
Yes.
gnomes running around, I think
That's
would
different.
have appeased. I mean, that when people, I remember in the forums, people were asking for Mechagnomes. People were speculating the actual mechanical gnomes, like the Titan descendant ones specifically,
Right.
that weren't
I-
really afflicted with the curse of
Mhm.
flesh. People wanted that. So Blizzard saw it and was like, okay, you know what? Let's give
Here.
them robot gnomes.
See,
Someone
my
like-
my problem in Blizzard, if you were listening, get rid of Mechagnomes and give us Naga. Even if you put it in Alliance, I'll play a Naga.
I don't know if Naga will ever.
They're never gonna do Naga unless they
Man.
find a way to like give legs to Naga. There's no way they could do it.
They
You ever see
don't
that
have to,
meme
because
that's like-
Mechagnomes don't have legs. If
ever see that
have the whole
meme
mechanized, no
That's like,
legs.
I really
"Mom,
want to know
can we
about
get
this meme.
McDonald's?" And she's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
"Oh, we
we've
have to
got
do
it at home."
Well, it's like Blizzard. Can we get Mechano? Can we get Mimron? He's like, "Oh, we have that at home." And these little freaks are the things we have at home.
Good choice of
Just
words
came up
there.
with that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good one.
I liked it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You should make it into a real meme.
There you go.
Well, let's move on because no one wants to talk about the Mechagnomes.
Yeah, no.
Send us an email if you want us to go into it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to go into though. And then the other thing that's ridiculous about the Mechagnomes, and this is like probably the most ridiculous
I
thing
feel
about
like this
the
is an
Mechagnomes,
oxymoron, Uthos.
is that the prince of the Erasmin, the prince of the Mechagnomes, what he did was, after he had his father killed because reasons, he then went to free Gilban Mechatork in order to make him king of all of the gnomes, which that is so the opposite of what could ever possibly happen. Because
I
you don't
shouldn't-
like say, oh, I need to find a leader, let me find a leader for my people, and give up my leadership to give it to somebody else who isn't related to me. Like, it would be acceptable if like Mechatork had a daughter that he was like wanting to date, and he marries into the family, and then he says, you know what, you should lead all the gnomes, and then knowing that he's gonna take the mantle after that, there's just no reason to give up your
He's an idiot.
it makes no sense.
You know, it would have been
Makes no
cool for
sense.
these guys. I think what would have really made these guys okay is if their little robotic legs, they made themselves taller on purpose with longer robot arms.
But
So
then
they
that's
look
something different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would have done them a bit more justice if, like, since they're so wrapped up in like their technology, like to the point where they want to infuse themselves with robotic parts. Like, why not make yourself like 2 feet taller or something, guys? You know, like.
Well, you know what is actually a cool
You're
race?
What, Vulpera?
The Vulpera.
The
I
Vulpera.
I do love the Vulpera.
You know, I held up a
love the
picture.
Vulpera.
I held up a picture of the Mechagnomes to my baby little sister back when I visited my family a year ago, because they were just introduced, and I was like, "Hey, Jill, which one would you like more? Would you like the Mechagnomes or the Vulpera?" So I show up the Mechagnomes, and she like sticks out her tongue. She's like, "Ah, ew, ew, like what? He looks weird." And I show up the Vulpera, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's okay!" And I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
It's true.
They're the cutest race. Absolutely.
They're awesome.
It's-
I love foxes.
You want to go
Oh.
into the notes for them? You want to just go straight to Vulpera?
Yeah,
So
do it.
badly.
Dive
Do
in.
it.
All right.
Do it.
Why,
All right,
why,
let's do it.
why doesn't Scrappy do this?
Do it.
Let's do it,
Man,
Scrappy.
me?
It's your
Yeah.
favorite. If you don't want to, I will. But
All right. No, you do it. You do
okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
So the
You
Wowpedia
gave him
notes
too much
are.
anxiety.
I know, I'm sorry for doing that. A desert-faring people native to the sands of Vol'dun, they were terrorized for generations by the Sethrak Empire until they received aid from the Horde. Clever and resourceful, the Vulpera of Vol'dun have survived amidst the sands for generations. Eager to join the ranks of the Horde, their caravans have departed from the dunes in search of adventure. And then the race preview from Blizzard is... The Serpentine Sethrak have taken to subjugating anyone they can as slaves, and the Vulpera are an easy target for their machinations. If you've taken steps to liberate the Vulpera from these overseers, they'll join the Horde on the battlefield.
What a fun addition to the Horde.
Right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest complaint, I'll just go straight to the complaint because I know we have a lot of good things to say about these guys.
I
Yeah,
have
let's go to
complaints.
complaints first.
Oh, okay, okay.
I have complaints. Well, my complaint is in the recruitment scenario. I honestly feel that was a missed opportunity on Blizzard's part. Like they really like were like overlooked, and the Horde was like, yeah, whatever with you people, and then they proved themselves and they earned between all three of the things that they were doing. But when Talanji in the Zandalari recruitment scenario, when you're helping Talanji ascend and go through her trials, right? She is told specifically you aren't only the queen of the Zandalari, you're also the queen of everybody on the Zandalari island chain. So you have to accept being the queen of the Vulpera and the queen of the Tortolan and the queen of like all of the races that are on her island, because she has to treat them all fairly. So when you presented that in the Zandalari recruitment scenario, I thought, well, she should, on behalf of the Vulpera, like have said to Bane, the Vulpera should be welcomed in the Horde, and if they need to prove themselves, and then continue the same recruitment scenario, just fine.
Yeah.
But have her, like, say, no, these are my allies, and if you want the Zandalarian, you should also accept the Vulpera in the Horde.
Yeah.
Just having that, like
That would've
her
been pretty
saying,
powerful.
like, I vouch for them, it would have been a big, in my opinion, a big thing, but they chose not to do that. Go ahead with
See,
your other.
Oh, another thing I keep seeing was like how like some people thought it was just ridiculous having little fox people coming in, little furries coming into the Horde, and uh, I can see where those complaints come from. But
Yeah.
oh, I
again,
can't too.
what's the Horde built upon?
Yeah,
Diversity.
differences.
Like,
Yeah,
so what? These are little scavenging fox people. Like,
and they're
think
not
about
like
it.
all fun. They're not very like people make them out to be. Oh, they're just like cute little like fluffy.
Oh,
No,
dude, they're mean.
they're mischievous. They're
Yeah.
mean. They will steal things. They will just rob your corpse. They'll
Yeah.
and they're upfront about it. They're like, listen, if we're boys and all, but if you die, I'm stealing everything that's on you. Like that's going down, and just so we're on the same page,
Yeah.
don't get offended. I'm just gonna take everything that you have, and that's it.
Yeah, they're
Two
fierce.
things-
They're cunning. They're
They
Yeah.
are.
like they're very
Yeah.
adaptable. They're like they've survived deserts, the Sethrak,
Yeah.
the deserts. They've
But
held their
again,
own pretty well.
one of the complaints that I have, I guess, is not about the race itself. It's about Blizzard's decision to make them sit with the Horde. And I get it.
Of
Like
course you
in
would
terms
think
of
that.
no. But I mean no. Because I mean I play both, so it doesn't matter. But in terms of like the fact that they're using the same in-game models as goblins to create the Vulpera, I would think as someone who doesn't really have a huge amount of bias to which side they would play on, I would think they'd want the Vulpera to be in the Alliance side, so that the Alliance would have not because of lore. I'm not saying lore-wise. I'm saying purely gameplay-wise.
Like if they were to
Purely
redo the whole
Yes.
thing, they would want a Vulpera race on the Alliance.
So you kind of have the same complaint as the Kul Tirans with me. It has to do with the end game. Like I mean, if you want to be honest, I said this on stream last night. I looked at the knight for the humans on Warcraft 3, the old model. I was like, oh, it's just a Kul Tiran on a horse. And then all you have to do is take an ogre model, put a human on it, boom.
What the
You have a Kul Tiran.
Yeah, but your argument
really
was
hate the
against
fatness
it.
of the Kul Tirans.
I
Yeah,
hate
your
Kul
argument
Tirans.
was
Mine's-
against the Kul Tirans because you want ogres, and it seems like Rich's argument is the complete opposite.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's
Yeah.
The Vulpera are basically a reskin of the goblins. But the
Yeah.
Right.
Vulpera have joined the Horde as well. And I would think that, like I said, with the Void Elves, which we'll get into next episode, the Void Elves have joined the Alliance, which has given the Alliance the opportunity to have something that is
Ooh,
reminiscent.
what else?
And
Anyways,
I just thought they'd do that. That's all I'm saying. But I love the Vulpera.
That's
and
fair
I'm glad
enough.
they're part of the Horde.
Yeah,
I think it's perfect.
It's absolutely fair
Uh,
enough, Rich. But glad they're Horde. Woo!
Oh no, I am glad they're in the
I-
Horde, but I thought that they would have gone that way in terms of game.
Yeah. Plus, the
I
Alliance already
love-
has one batch of furries, so
Yeah.
like, what's wrong fighting enough?
I love the Vulpera being part of the Horde because maybe it was just me going through the quest line of the recruitment process. I thought it was great being able, because it wasn't as simple as what Uthos said. It wasn't as they could have went the route of being Talanji saying, "Hey, the Vulperas, they're my allies, they come with me. They could have done that, but they made it to where the Vulperas fought for their own place in the Horde. They said, okay, y'all don't need anybody. Let me show you that I need somebody. And another thing with the mischievous thing with the Vulpera, and this is a little off, but look at Hearthstone. You have a clever disguise. You know that card, Rory. It's like a 2-drop. You get 2 cards from a random class.
Hey, can we pause super quick? Just give me. I gotta pick up a quick packet. It's food that just came
Alright,
in,
you're
so I gotta pack that
No, you're
shit
fine.
super quick. But don't lose your spot. It's really interesting.
I'm gonna no, I'm not. I'm just gonna leave it running. But
Just go take a quick bathroom break if you need to.
That's what I'm gonna do.
All right. Sorry guys, I'll be right back.
Me too.
I forget that my camera is over here whenever I'm not on stream.
I'm gonna take a bathroom break too. Then screw it. Fuck it.
I love the Deadpool pants, by the way.
Thanks.
Done. Hello.
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 I'm still here.
I'm glad.
I'm
I need
listening
to
in.
sneeze. I need to sneeze.
I'm being as creepy as
My
I can.
hair is barely pink anymore. I need to re-dye it.
Dude, I like it though.
I just saw it in the mirror though, but it's not as pink as it looks on camera.
It looks like it has
Ken.
a pastel gray pink.
That's what I wanted. Okay.
Oh, you see that's the way it looks. It looks fine.
I
Well, like
I have a
my
secret
hair's-
as well.
was blue and then it turned green.
Oh. Well, I don't have real hair.
Oh, really?
Haven't had hair since I was 18. Well, I have. Like, this is my real hair that I'm pulling. Like, it's all real.
Okay.
But this
okay.
is not. So I have, like, a thing that, like, glues onto my head and it lasts, like, a month. And it just looks like hair.
Oh. Is that like the same thing as a toupee?
Kind of. Not really. It isn't. It isn't. Because it's like, it's called a system. So it has, like, a faux, like, a fake skin.
Oh, okay.
And then it glues on. Oh, hang on. I'll be right back. My friend is here. I'm just going to let her in. Hello. Hello.
You forgot to mute, Rich.
I'm not muting.
It's not muting.
Yeah.
He's intentionally not muting. I'm making like a quick sandwich. Quick sandwich.
Nice sofa, by the way. I like your sofa. Is that leather?
Yeah, it's Ashley. And it reclined.
Nice. I love leather. I just recently, I have a 1971 hearse that I drive, and I just recently had it all redone in leather. So I was super happy about that.
No, he was at pottery class. He was like, I just got a text saying,
I'm trying to find Rastakhan making that speech. I know what he says. I just can't find him making that speech.
He even makes part of that speech in Hearthstone. I know you don't really play, do you?
Hello.
You don't really
I think
play.
I found it.
It's like, because part of Rastakhan's speech is in Hearthstone. I know that.
I found his voiceover lines. Now I just have to find when he says it.
Oh my god, oh my god! The pre-patch is on PTR.
What? Okay, so I downloaded the PTR like yesterday because I heard about
It
that.
just
Did you
came
guys
out.
check to
No.
see if you had beta?
So I don't have it.
No,
They
I
invited
no, I
almost
don't.
everybody.
I don't have beta because you
I
said
don't
that
have
this
beta.
morning, and I got up and I was like, what?
Yeah,
me
same. I was
look.
like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, I was like disappointed. I was like, Blizzard. I was screaming Blizzard.
Pre-patch event.
Is the pre-patch live on the PTR?
Yeah. 9.0.1.
Oh,
No,
one
the
thing.
pre-patch isn't out for live.
It
No,
is.
not
On-
live,
on
but
the-
live for PTR.
Hmm.
Time for the PTR. Oh, that's terrible. Mr. GMYT
Yeah,
just
Mr.
posted it.
GM. Dude, so I have a good question, Rich. So you were talking about joining NA a little bit. Would you guys want to banner together for like some classic gameplay on NA? Level up characters together on classic? That would be cool.
I have a few characters on Classic. I have a shaman, a priest, and I think a druid.
I did just kind of hate
It's hard
it.
for me to get into Classic.
Yeah, same.
You did.
I
Hello?
played.
I
Hello.
Hey. Sorry about
I
that.
don't hate it,
That's
but
alright.
I think it would be a cool idea for all of us to make a character in classic and then all of us level together.
Ugh,
Just
I
go
fucking
through
hate
it
Classic.
I do too. I hate classic.
see, I hate
we could
classic
definitely
too.
do an episodic series.
Yeah,
We're
that
gonna
could be
do
quite
classic.
fun, actually.
I mean, it's a little harder. I mean, it's a lot
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot
don't.
harder.
I personally don't like classic, but I love the talent system. That's the one thing that I love about classic. The talent system was so cool. As a kid, I didn't know what I was clicking, but I was over here. Oh, so I could get this or that. Oh, okay. So I'll click this one every time I
Yeah.
level up.
What race would we go?
We'd have to have the same race, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the kicker.
We'll go orcs. Let's just agree right now, right?
We either go orc or troll.
Or undead.
I already have
I like
a level
Forsaken.
20
I like
orc.
Forsaken.
I
a
like
lot, too.
Forsaken as well.
Yeah, I like Forsaken too. So
I like Forsaken.
Forsaken it is.
Okay.
No,
So
just
let's.
kidding.
Did we finish Vulpera?
No. Scrappy
No.
was in the middle of something.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Sorry.
we'll give it a little void teaser after.
what
So
was I saying about it? I was saying that I like the fact that the way they joined the horde. I think that's where I was at.
Yes.
Oh no, I was talking about Hearthstone after that too. So
yeah. Sorry.
All
You
right,
said they were
so-
mischievous because in Hearthstone, and then that's when I cut you
yeah.
off.
So in Hearthstone specifically, they have two cards. Well, now two cards. Specifically, there's one called Clever Disguise or something like that, and it's a 2-drop. You get 2 cards from a random class. You add 2 cards from whatever class, and I thought that was interesting because that fits the rogue perspective of Vulpera. And also, there's another called Vulpera Toxin Blade or something like that, where it gives your weapon light +2 attack. But it's a picture of a Vulpera sitting there putting poison on a blade.
Yeah.
And it's like the mischievous factor of them being kind of roguelike and
They're very
in the-
interesting.
yeah,
Like in
really
that aspect,
interesting.
absolutely. I'll admit, like I was a bit more on the like furry side, but after like seeing a lot of the art
Same.
coming out for these guys and a lot more
Me too.
description to these guys, like seeing them as a bit more of like these little mischievous foxes that could really help the horde. And going off of what we said about the recruitment scenario, I know the Talanji part would have been a bit more of a powerful moment, kind of showing a bit more of what kind of leader Talanji is going to be. However, it was a good attention to detail that the horde was desperate to regain its supplies
Yeah.
and rebuild after this huge war they just bid with. Like
What's the Vulpera's leader name? Koji or Kori or something like that? It's something with a K.
oh, crap.
Hero. I thought it was
Hero.
Hero.
Yeah, Hero.
Hero.
That's what it is.
Hero.
I thought he was really cool. I
Is
love
cool.
I love him so much, and one of the things I think is funny is whenever you look at the wagons. I don't know if it was a quest line or if you talk to somebody, but it talks about the tails, the fox tails on the wagon. On the back of the
Yes.
wagon. I loved that. I was like, "Ooh, y'all are mean."
Kiro's pretty cool. He was the original caravan leader. We meet him at the Vulpera hideaway in Buldoon. He was wary of us at first, but you know, eventually he came to join the Horde. He's a healer, as far as I remember. And they describe him as
Yes.
always on the move, always working on some big plan. And one of the funny quotes that Kiro has is he says what did he say? He will die. He would take his last breath defending the Vulpera, but he'd prefer to avoid taking that breath today. And I was like, oh, that's
I see. I love that. I
funny.
love that because it's so. Coming from somebody who has always loved playing the rogue, I love Vulpera because
Yeah.
they fit that aesthetic even to their race. Like they just absolutely love being mischievous, and they don't care about anybody else but
Well,
themselves.
their leader though. So like their leader Kiro, I think it's interesting because like that's the general aesthetic of most of the Vulpera, but their leader is a healer that cares for his people and cares for others and is always working on something. Yeah, always on the move, always working on some big plan. So I guess that's a bit more of the rogue kind of aspect of him.
Yeah.
But he is a bit more of the caring sort of Vulpera. So it's
Yeah.
just fun to see like despite all these like mischievous little misfits, like they have their own little leadership balance. It's gonna be fun to see like the kind of roles they have. Like for example, we saw Thalystra take a big role in Najatar, right? And now she's a big
Yeah.
horde name. Like she's she
No, it's
teleports armies in.
It's just like the Pandaren. As soon as they joined both sides, they were
Yeah.
just in the story constantly, and you
Yeah.
couldn't get rid of them.
I want,
Yeah.
but I
I
think
love
it's
how
gonna be
you're
fun
all
to see.
agreeing with me when I'm being super fucking sarcastic.
Well, I wasn't great. I was actually just thinking like I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but I'm just gonna keep going with what I was saying, and maybe someone will
Well,
speak up.
I was about to say I hope they don't treat the Vulpera like they
Like the
did
pandas.
the Pandaren.
Me
It's
too.
because the
Let's
pandas
yeah. The
was a
thing
cool
with the
concept.
Pandaren, I loved the Pandaren, but
Same.
they have been forgotten about it. But after seeing like they kind of forgot about the Night Elves and then they remembered last expansion. So after seeing what they did, I'm like, you know what? It's better sometimes that you don't remember about a race. Like keep
True.
the Pandaren forgotten about before they just blow up all of Pandaria and
Yeah.
just kill everything.
Yeah.
The
Pandas.
only argument I can make to myself about Pandaren not being a big part of BFA, like I said before, would be they had a whole
They're so
expansion
peaceful.
to
Yeah, I was
themselves.
just about to say they
Yeah.
had a whole
They're
expansion.
and they're very peaceful. They wouldn't really fit in well on a whole
Yeah.
war thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It would have been
I
a fun dive to take, like to see how they
Yeah.
handle it, but it was a missed opportunity, I'd say.
Should we move on to
We should.
email?
We should just we should talk about the email and then tease that next weekend.
Okay.
Next week is all.
So we got a really good
Elves.
email from Josh.
oh yes.
And he says, first, thanks for doing this podcast. I quit the game a couple of years ago because of time restraints, but I'm forever a fan of the lore. I wondered if you wanted to do an overview of the entire lore / timeline. I think most people have a good grasp of what happens from Warcraft 1 on through to the present time, but I'm sure there are points of confusion or retconning that some might not know. This, coupled with in-depth reviews of points in lore, will likely allow for many episodes of the show. Thanks, Josh.
Wow, Josh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, we're not going to do that. But if you want that, there's totally a podcast for you. It's called Morally Gray, which will go into the timeline from the very beginning. From the first episode is the Titans and the whole cosmos being formed, and it goes all the way chronologically. And he makes a point. Jin makes a point as to skipping in the the volumes of Chronicle to make it fit in chronological order. So
Yeah.
I'm actually currently on a binge on that show, just to like. So the thing with that show is, it's the explicit tag is very prevalent on that show. So the best way to describe the show is if a 12-year-old were explaining the lore to a 6-year-old, and they both could drink, and they just discovered how to use the F word.
You said that before. Yeah. So
And
one
the fear
one
plays the
thing-
role of the 6-year-old, because I can't imagine anybody just like being like a 6-year-old more than him.
Thanks for
But
following
in
us,
the
guys.
best way possible. In the best way possible.
Very backhanded
yeah,
compliment
he's-
you're throwing at these guys.
Mhm.
Believe me, they'll love it. In fact, I'm pretty sure they'll reference it on their show. But yeah, I've been on a binge with them, and it's actually a good show for that specific thing, what you want, which is timeline in a specific order. And if you want the lore behind the dungeons of the game, there's also a podcast for that, and that's called Dungeon Fables, and that's also a good podcast that'll take you through things chronologically.
And we'll drop links in the description of both of these podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
But-
They're
One
both very
thing
good
I-
podcasts. I like them a lot.
One thing I would like to do personally, either whether it be on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, I kind of started it with I'm starting a Warcraft Wednesday, and I want to play old Warcraft games, whether it be classic and Warcraft 2, Warcraft 1. I would personally like to go through Warcraft 1 and
Yep.
not necessarily chronologically, but start from where it began and then work your way up. I would love to do that because I love the idea of watching things, playing things, and listening to things in chronological order. I think that's really cool.
Awesome.
So, in all fairness,
and our next book is going to be Arthas, right? So that's going to take like the Third War.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
basically.
going to look at the Third War. Yeah.
So just piggybacking a little bit more off the Josh thing, we are an early podcast. We did just start. We do have future episodes planned. In
Mhm.
due time, I'm sure we will cover a
Everything.
good portion of the timeline. Maybe not in order, but we'll cover dungeons. We'll cover books. Books seem to be our big thing that we like.
And now that we're on YouTube as well, we can actually create playlists as well, which we can select the order for. So when we create a podcast or a YouTube video that might be able to be placed in a chronological order, we can do that too.
But thank you for watching us, Josh. We
Yeah.
really appreciate the email. We hope
Oh,
you
yeah,
stay with
thank you.
us, and we enjoy every little part of exploring our own geekiness and rage on the lore. Wow, it's a
Yeah.
very rich lore. It's nice to
Great.
just share it, and we appreciate you just listening in. So please stay tuned. Send us emails. We'll always give little thank yous to you guys. Anybody else
That's
want to
great.
touch on that?
Yeah.
or-
The geeking out is where it's at with us, really.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like, finding like certain things and just like chatting about it.
the aspects
I-
of sidetracking too.
I think that's one of the coolest things about us, though, is the fact that we can sidetrack, but we all four have different opinions, pretty much. We all can sidetrack on different things. I think that's awesome about us.
Yes,
I
but
think
only
that's
one of
what
us has
makes
the
it
right opinion.
That's
and
obviously
that
me.
is
Oh, yeah.
me.
So- Thanks for listening to the Aspects of Lore podcast. If you want to get in touch with us, drop us a line at aspectsoflore@gmail.com or go to aspectsoflore.com, click on contact, and drop us an email across. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. The rest of us have social media, but I'm going to post them in the description. Have a look and follow us all. Next time on Aspects of Lore.
Void elves. The
Oh,
lame
you weren't supposed to
elves.
do that. You know what?
Oh.
I'm just going to stop you, Rory, and that's the end
You're
of
just
the
going to cut it.
podcast.
You're just going to cut it.
No.
Bye,
Yeah, just cut
everyone.
it.